Hello, this is Mike. NoStressMike.com. I want to talk more on that. The making of a man. Uh, it was funny today. But like I say, the boss guys were oh, 45, 50 years old, and the helpers. One was 19, I think one was 21, and they they'd yell at them, and, hey, do that, yeah, do that. They really, they treat them worse than I treat Rex. I just holler at Rex, but these guys really, and it was funny because I know one time they're laying cement, and the one guy, the boss guy, he had one of them say, come on over here, and he was real nice to him. He didn't yell at him or nothing, and he showed him where they had one stake. You've ever seen like concrete? They put stakes out and they put 2x4s or some kind of wood along the side to keep the cement in, and it was stuck up. Oh, a little over a quarter inch. That stake was above the 2x4 that was going across, and he was real nice, and he was explaining to him that just to see that little piece coming up like that, you notice there's a hump in the concrete at that spot, and that's because of the stake. You're supposed to, and so he was explaining to him, and I thought it was real nice because he was talked real nice to the guy. He didn't yell at him, not that particular thing. And why? Because that was another top. He already that boy. You can get his attention, and he pays attention. You holler at him and you pay attention. You don't have to holler too bad to get his attention. And the other guy was he was 21, something like that, maybe 22. And this guy's a little slow. And it was funny because and later on I was talking to a 19-year-old, and he says he wants to learn to lay brick and lay concrete and all this stuff. That's what he wants to do. He wants to own his own business, and that's why. And it was funny because you yell at both of them, and now the one boy you talk to him a little bit, and now the other boy they didn't talk to him too much. But then again, I was watching him too, and I kind of got that he was a little slow. And the thing is, there's now he might be. No, literally, he was a little slow mentally, a little slow, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with yelling at these young men. They got to get used to it, and see they're under pressure. When they're getting yelled at, they're under pressure, under pressure to do it right. And then even the guy who's a little slow, there's especially in real work. I don't care what kind of work you're doing. If you're doing really real work, physical work, there's room for the ones that are a little slow, and there's room for all these young men, and what they're doing is they're learning their capabilities. And a lot of it is just attitude, but some of them, like say the one's a little slow, his attitude's just he's a little slow. He really is. So so that's the way his attitude is. He just does what he's told, and he'll just do it, and there's nothing wrong with it. You need people that'll just sit there and just do the work. So, but he won't think for himself, but you just tell him what to do, and then he'll go do it. And then the other guy would like I say, he's watching you, and then he'd jump in and try to help you. It reminded me of me when I was younger. I was the same thing. I don't know nothing. I want to learn. And so that's how you learn. You got to go in and you got to do it. And so it was pretty interesting. And that's what gave me. I was thinking, when when this was going on. I thought, you know, they're yelling at these poor boys, and you're yelling at them, and anybody on the outside, I'll put not anybody, non-masculine people that are watching from the outside will say, "Man, you're mentally abusing these poor young men," and it's not. I mean, you don't call them names and stuff like that, but I mean, you're yelling at them. Hey, do this, man. Didn't I tell you to do that? You know, I mean, you know, you're you're making them. You're trying to make them think. And I didn't want to video of all this stuff because, like I say, the idea isn't to embarrass them. I'm sure I was the same way. When I was in Vietnam, 18 years old, and they're over there yelling at me. I'm getting ready to die, and they're treating me like a damn dog. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You learn. You have to learn, and you don't have time, you know, to kiss them and give them all the participation medals and stuff like that. You don't do that shit. You gotta, these young men, and like I say, especially between 18 and 21, I've said that's the one hell of a time in your life that can really catapult you into manhood. What you do in that period of time. This is one reason why I've changed my mind through the years. Now I'm for mandatory military enlistment. I think every young man at 18 needs to go into the military, and I think it needs to be mandatory. And they'll figure out some way to do it, but I mean it really needs to, because to motivate these kids, because like I say, and I mentioned it on the other one, hell, Marine Corps going through boot camp, man, they are brutal, and I know Marines are different than the rest of them. I mean, we're really brutal, and when I was in during war and stuff, they were physical brutal. I mean, not just emotionally brutal. I mean, they were physically brutal. I mean, it was bad. And but like I say, at the time, I thought, what the hell, that time we didn't have the, people are being abusive. In the 60s, late 60s, they didn't have abusive crap. So, and then, like I say, young men, sometimes you got to kick them in the butt and get them going. You have to change their attitude. And that's what a lot of that stuff is, just trying to motivate their attitude, get them going, thinking. And but it is a very good thing. And I'm wondering nowadays, when all these kids, there's all this electronic stuff, I don't understand how this is going to work. You're not motivating. You can't motivate. We're just trying to get a better score, or this kind of stuff. I mean, none of that stuff. I don't understand how young men are supposed to mature into real masculine men. And I've never talked about the masculine man before, but I say really, it is. I mean, just because you got a pecker doesn't mean you're a real man, and that's what I'm saying. You got to be masculine. Masculine's in the mannerisms, in being what do you call it, respectful towards others, and that's what they're learning from 18 to 21. They're learning, well, who you're supposed to be respectful to. Well, I don't need to be respectful to that old fart. Bammo! Man, now you know. You're going to be respectful of all these old farts, too. The reality is, and it's not really you're learning your pecking order. I used to think it was kind of like you're learning your pecking order, but you're not. Because, like I say, it's not like, I'll let anybody, yell at me. Well, not now. Now I'm old and it's a little bit different. But when you're young, I mean, anybody can yell at you, just don't touch me, so. And that's when they get, somebody will yell at you, especially in the military, and they yell at you, and then they start touching you, they start pushing you. And now, to expand on your masculinity, you may have to put up a fight. And it's not a fight to the death, that's bullshit stuff. That's crap that these gang people get their mindset into. But the reality is, there are times that you are going to have to stand and that's why it's important who the people you hang around. You hang around a bunch of other guys that you hurt their feelings when you yell at them. I mean, you're around the wrong bunch. But then again, when you're around the ones that they talk trash and they pushing and stuff like that, that's not good either. So these are things you need to learn, and it's not easy to learn. And if you don't learn it, and I hate to say this, but I'm just going to say, from 18 to 21, if you don't learn it at that time, well, then the rest of the time, when you get older, you kind of trying to figure out where you stand. I mean, it's just a little different, and I'm noticing, and this is what I'm thinking. A lot of these, I don't know if you call them millenniums or airheads or whatever you want to call these. That's why you see all these liberals, socialists, communists type people. Well, that's because they're one of a bunch. That's what they're like, a herd. They're not manly. They're not masculine. And I didn't make the connection, but now I can see the connection in it, because like I say, out here, I'm not only out here in the country, everybody's working, and like I say, we got a lot of construction people in here doing their thing, and they you don't find socialist, communist, liberal airheads in this bunch. I mean, like I say, there's some that aren't too smart. I will agree with you on that. But like I say, that's one thing they all have to do. They all got to work. They all got to take responsibility. And now, how much responsibility depends on the person, and their attitude and their goals in life. But you're not, these people are all hard working. One way or the other, they're going to be working. They need to provide. There's no free handouts out here in the country. But anyway, I just thought it was real funny, and I thought because like I say, I don't know, just when I saw it, listening to it, I had to turn away because I was laughing. But just because I know, you don't say this stuff to hurt the kids' feelings. You hurt this, you holler at them and yell at them and to get them motivated, and that's how young men are motivated, and that's how they're going to get masculine. This is Mike, No Stress Mike.com.